Hey, what is up, you fucking nerds? Well, what can I say that has not been said about Elden Ring already? Elden Ring is fucking dope. There's really no two ways about it. I mean, you can obviously tell from the review score that it's a fucking great ass game, which I'm not gonna say anything different. Does it have its problems? Of course. No game is 100%. Am I right? So, I'm a big From Software fan. I heard about Dark Souls for a long time, but I just never really got into them. Mainly, I didn't like the fantasy genre. But then eventually, I saw Sekiro come out in 2019, and I was like, damn, that shit looks fucking dope. Because I always liked samurai, shinobi, ninjas, and stuff, right? So I seen it come out, and I got it. Got it day one. I remember going to GameStop at 9 o'clock at night so that I could pick it up, right? And I got the little, where the fuck is it, man? I got this little letter opener type sword that came with it. It's the fucking Mortal Blade. Is that not cool as fuck? It came with it, and it was like free with it too. But anyways, so I played Sekiro, and I ain't gonna lie, it was a difficult game for me to play. I had never really played a game. Okay, I had actually played Bloodborne before that, like in 2015 when it came out. I had a roommate that had it, and I actually did play all the way up until the last boss, but I just, I couldn't get into it. I played through it and made it all the way to the last boss, and he beat my ass, and I just gave up playing it, and then a whole bunch of other shit happened. Somebody stole my PlayStation, and it had my roommate's fucking copy of Bloodborne in it, and it was just a hassle. But anyways, I didn't think much of From Software games, and I, was never into the fantasy genre or anything like that, so me playing Dark Souls was pretty much not on the table. Which neither was Final Fantasy or anything else that was fantasy-esque for that matter. So, anyways, fast forward 2019, I pick up Sekiro when it comes out. It's fucking great, right? I loved it, but it was, like I said, a hard sell. It was extremely difficult. I never parried in games or anything like that before. If there was an option to parry, I didn't pick that option. I did everything else that could possibly be done around parrying, right? So even when I first played Bloodborne all the way through, I never parried. And when I did play Bloodborne, I never really got it. I never tried actually parrying with the pistol, the hunter's pistol, and that. I missed out on like half of the game because I didn't understand From Software games like at all. So, anyways, I played Sekiro and I watched a fighting cowboy walkthrough with it. I beat it and I loved it a lot. I beat it like 5 times. The first problem I had was with Junichiro. When you get to him, man, it is a serious bitch. Especially if you're not into games like that and you've never played a Souls game or anything. And just Junichiro was so hard. Until I ended up getting I think it was called Shadow Rush, where you fly into him with the sword and jump up and do a spin attack back down, which makes a fucking joke out of him. But I didn't really understand the lightning parry thing that was going on in that fight. And, I ran into several other problems. The last boss, the owl fights, at least the second owl fight, the young owl. I had a problem with Lady Butterfly, too, when I first played against her. But, so, anyways, I loved it, and I played it 5 times, and I platinumed it, which I had never platinumed a game before. That was my first time, and up until now, there was only 2 games that I platinumed. The third one that I platinumed now is Elden Ring. So anyways, after beating Sekiro, I was like, fuck, that was good, and I beat it so many times, I can't go back to it, again. In fact, I'm still on the playthrough now that I quit playing years ago, but I'm not going to start a new character. Attack power is like 79 or something. Anyways, I got Bloodborne, and I played it, and this time I just got it, I went through it, and things that I missed the first time around, I did not miss, and I didn't even use a guide. Didn't use a fighting cowboy guide, but I still got everything there was to get, I got all the umbilical cords. I went to the nightmare region, whatever it's called, with the amygdala boss fight. I got to Canehurst Castle, which if you guys know how you get to Canehurst, it's fucking weird. You have to get that note or whatever that basically takes you to Canehurst, and you have to go to that big like obelisk or whatever that's by the witches, and you use it, and then a fucking ghost carriage takes you there. And, but anyways, after playing Sekiro, just the storyline and the way things like that work, just kind of, I understood it. And I did the Upper Cathedral War, just a lot of things that I missed the first time around. And I did some farming, too, which I think at that point in games I had never really farmed. In Sekiro, I didn't really farm a whole lot. I did some for different skills and maybe a little bit more attack power. But Sekiro is a lot different. You don't really level up in Sekiro like you do other games. So anyways, I beat Bloodborne, love the hell out of it. Bloodborne is still one of my favorites to this day. It's a fucking great game. Probably is my favorite. I mean, you can see I'm wearing a shirt of the Madman's Knowledge. I got a Maria tattoo. There's Eileen and fucking... God, what's that dude's name, man? The dude with the fucking bag on his head with the whirligig saw. I don't remember his name. Anyways, I got those tattoos, and Bloodborne was just, my thing. I loved it so much. And after that, I was like, well, I still need more, So I got Dark Souls 3. At that time, I didn't really play old games. I still really don't play old games unless it's something that I feel like I really missed and wanted to go back to. So, at any rate, I played Dark Souls 3, and I loved that, too. It was a lot like Bloodborne, so, it fit right in with me. I love the dodging and everything in that game. Didn't really parry in that game much. Bloodborne, I'm a fucking parry god. Just something about the way you pull the pistol and time it with the way it hits you and stuff. It's great. Loved it. So, Dark Souls 3, loved that. Didn't platinum it because you need to get all the rings to platinum that game. And I think when I got, the number 2 health ring and stuff like that, I got rid of the first one. Or when I got the number 3, I sold the first 2. And I didn't realize that to get that trophy, you have to have, all previous rings in your fucking inventory, which I did not. And I sure as hell ain't starting a new playthrough when I'm at level, 200 and something. Just not happening. I know a lot of people do start new games on these type of games. I can't do it. I will play with the same character forever, just because I like having all my skills topped off and stuff like that. So anyways, then I went back and I played Dark Souls 1, and I liked it. It wasn't bad. It was crappy looking because it was a PS3 game, and but I got it on the PS4, and I played Dark Souls 2, and now this is a topic that a lot of people have different opinions on. Most people, though, however, do not like Dark Souls 2. I loved it. I thought it was really good. I might have liked it better than the first one, to be honest. The first one I didn't like how you had to... everybody raves about the interconnectedness of the world, and, everything leads back into the Firelink Shrine and everything, and just everything feeds into each other, and the world makes sense, and it's great, It must have taken forever for them to actually plan it out and, make all these places be in the same area and stuff, whereas, Dark Souls 2 is just completely different, in the game files and stuff. One world is right on top of another world. It makes no sense, but I kind of like the dreamy feel of it, your character just, jumps into this whirlpool into nothingness, and they're lost in time or dream world or something, and I thought it was good. I did like Dark Souls 2. What I didn't like about it, which, I didn't like it, but like I said, I love those games, so everything that's in those games I can get used to, and, it sucked that you constantly have several enemies coming after you. It's just such a bitch when you got 10 fucking tarantulas after you and some guy up there shooting stuff at you. Now, if y'all have played Elden Ring, you'll notice that that shit made it into Elden Ring, now didn't it? As much as people bitch about Dark Souls 2, a lot of pieces of Dark Souls 2 are in Elden Ring. They just are, man. You can see that they took stuff from all their games and slapped it in there. Not just story beats like Astel and the Meteorite and shit that's straight out of an H.P. Lovecraft book, which is straight out of Bloodborne, made it into Elden Ring, but a lot of gameplay things too. So anyways, I did like Dark Souls 2, but all of those games were just something very special to me. I started buying figurines and stuff like my little boy here. What the fuck is his name, man? He's like that huge fight in the DLC. How the hell can I not remember his name? I don't know, but I don't feel like spending 30 seconds here in silence trying to figure out his name. God, man. The fucking, what's it called, knights in the third one were the Abyss Walker, man. I don't remember the Abyss Walker's name. Anyways, it really doesn't matter, but I love him. I started getting a bunch of figures. Probably can't really see it, but I got the Elden Ring figurine up there, and I got Maria and stuff. Tattoos, freaking shirts, fucking stuffies, just, I love it, man. I love everything about these games, and I think that Hidetaka Miyazaki is just simply a fucking genius, man. Just the way that he writes his stories, he doesn't even, he does write good dialogue, but he doesn't have to, be pretentious and stuff and write these amazing, stories that come together and stuff and have a great ending, and yet he still ends up making something that is just absolutely incredible. And Bloodborne has such a good story, which is why it's my favorite, but all those games have a great story. And it does kind of suck that it's in item descriptions and stuff, but when you actually find out about Miyazaki and why he writes stories like that, you understand all of it, really. When he was younger, he loved Dungeons and Dragons, he loved all fantasy stuff, but he did not speak English, and most of that stuff was in English, so he read what he could and did what he could, but he had to piece a lot of things together, to figure it out. So, I think he had nostalgia for all those things, so he tried to give us the same experience by making us piece things together without knowing everything, without having everything come together. We have to do it ourselves, which is cool. A lot of channels on YouTube have been made from people like Vati Vidya and stuff like that, who, will make lore videos and tell about it. And I love those lore videos because I try and put the stories together, but, I miss a lot of things when I'm playing games. I'm not the greatest detective in the world. I do have a high IQ, but when I play a game, I'm not really putting in work. You know what I mean? I'm doing it to enjoy it. Whereas someone like Vati Vidya and other guys like that are doing lore videos are dissecting everything and stuff, and I'm playing it for fun. However, I do love the lore when I find, little item descriptions and things like that, or I'll just come across something in environment, and it has an amazing story to it, and it's just great, the Gehrman fight, and his daughter, and you find his dead wife with the brooch on the rooftop and stuff. It's great environmental storytelling. And then you kill the pig and you find the girl's ribbon, and it's so good. It really is. So Elden Ring ain't really a lot different. Elden Ring is the same as all of his games, except it is open world. And, a lot of people at first, before it came out, were worried about From Software making an open world game. I was not worried ever, at all, because I trust From Software, Hidetaka Miyazaki. I trust them, to make something really cool. And, I was right, of course. Elden Ring was fucking incredible. But before it came out, I actually scheduled a week vacation from work, and a lot of people I know at work, of course, bought it and are playing it because it's a huge game right now. Just so much commercialization and stuff like that everybody is playing it. And, these people are playing it, and they're like, oh, how did you get 150 hours? And it's like, dude, I love these games, so I scheduled myself a fucking week vacation to play the damn thing. And even at the end of that week vacation, I think I had only made it to the mountaintop of the Giants. I didn't even beat it, and it still took me another week and a half after that. And if I hadn't taken that vacation, God knows how long it would have taken me. Games normally take me, a game like Red Dead Redemption or Horizon Zero Dawn, normally take me about 2 weeks. Horizon Forbidden West, of course, took me a lot less time. Horizon Forbidden West was extremely short. I did some of the side quests, and even with those, it was an extremely short game, which didn't really bother me, but, that's a whole nother video, a whole nother topic. Elden Ring is amazing. It's everything that you could want from a From Software game. And, if you're looking for advice on whether you should buy it, or if you're like me and you have just consumed every piece of Elden Ring mythology, lore, and review videos that you possibly can, and nothing else is out there, then, you'll end up finding this eventually, maybe. I mean, I doubt that many people will find this video. I don't make a lot of videos, and not a lot of people even know who I am. Maybe one day, right? But a lot of people tell me I should make a YouTube channel and make videos, because I'm just so fucking funny, which I sure as hell don't think I am. But anyways, Elden Ring is really good. It's, but I've heard a lot of complaining about different things from it. I've heard that the frame rate is terrible on PC, and I did actually turn off the, I put it in, I didn't prioritize frame rate. I tried it, and it was a little bit choppy, so I just, I put it back to prioritize frame rate, and the game is a looker, either way. I did hear bitching that it does not look like Demon Souls, but they are two completely different games. I did eventually buy a PS3 and play Demon Souls, and I made it to the part where you fight the fucking stingray in the sky. I can't remember what it's called. It's like the Stormcaller God or something like that. But you have to have a special sword to do the fight. It's the same as, the Yorm the Giant fight or the Rykard fight in Elden Ring, where you pick up a sword in the environment and use it against the boss, and its special move only works on that one fucking boss, and you can't even use it anywhere else, which is completely stupid, but, it is what it is. But anyways, I was playing it on the PS3, and I made it to that part, and I think I had too much shit in my inventory, right? So I pick it up, and it wouldn't let me carry it. And then I died to the boss. So I come back to redo the fight, and the sword ain't there. It ain't in my inventory, didn't get sent to fucking storage or nothing, it's just gone. So, I was pissed. I tried fighting that boss several times with magic and arrows and everything else, and I could not kill it, and I fucking smashed my PS3 controller and said, fuck this game, it is fucking terrible. I will wait until I play it on the PS5, and at that time, I still hadn't gotten a PS5, still didn't know when I was going to get one. I did end up getting one maybe within like 5 months from then or something like that, but people say that Elden Ring does not look as good as the Demon Souls remake, and yes, I will agree that it does not. If you compare patches in Elden Ring to patches in Demon Souls, obviously the Demon Souls patches looks fucking great, you can tell just what a shithead he is by looking at him and that fucking smirk on his face. God, patches, fucking hate him. Been an asshole ever since fucking Demon Souls, and he's still, why wasn't he in Sekiro? He really should have been in Sekiro as like the only Caucasian in the game that fucking tricks you or something, and that would have been really fucking awesome. But I think they, I've heard though that it's not, Sekiro is not part of the series. I consider it a part of the series. It's the one that got me into the series. But Demon Souls was made specifically for PS5, so, it's going to be different. Elden Ring was made for every console and every way that you can play the game. It's on the Xbox, it's on last generation's consoles, it's on PlayStation, PC. If they're stretching out their budget and all their, their work so that they can make something that plays on every console and, is decently playable everywhere, then yeah, it's not gonna look that great as it should, because Demon Souls was only made for the PS5. So all of their work went into prioritizing everything for the PS5 and working solely on that console. Not only that, but the gameplay and everything is exactly the same as the old one. It plays the same as a shitty game from 2011. So, all they did was pretty it up, which is what Blue Point does. I would love to see Blue Point actually make something of their own, but they redid Shadow of the Colossus, which I couldn't get into. The gameplay, just the way you hold the sword to find where you're going and the way you climb stuff, just didn't really like it, and I've heard that it's such a great game. I could not get into it, but I did like the Demon Souls remake, but Demon Souls is my least favorite. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say Demon Souls is my least favorite of all the games. I do like it. I mean, it's good, of course, but, you can see how everything came from that originally. But, it's, I don't know, man. With the Demon Souls remake, I just wish they would have done more with it. I wish it wouldn't have been a straight one-to-one remake. The Broken Archstone that has, I guess, the Land of the Giants or whatever that you never get to see. They really should have made it in that game where you can, visit it at least for a while and see all the giants and shit. Just imagine if the Demon Souls remake would have had that Broken Archstone, and there's a quest where you put it together and then you can actually travel there. Imagine how fucking awesome that would have been. It would have completely changed my mind about the Demon Souls remake, but it's just a rigid game. It is. It is probably, in my opinion, it is the best looking game that is out there. I have not seen a better looking game than the Demon Souls on PS5. It looks fucking incredible. The characters' faces and their teeth, which look a lot fucking better than mine. Just everything about it, the animations, it's all just very good. However, the game is slow, and it's just a lot different than Elden Ring. Of course, Elden Ring, has a lot of DNA from Sekiro and Bloodborne, and it's an amalgamation of all the Dark Souls games, and it's just packed all together, whereas Demon Souls is the first one, and it's just its own thing, whereas Elden Ring is, all that stuff, and it's an evolution, You can see a lot of Bloodborne in it, and I love all those games. Even in Demon Souls now, after playing Bloodborne and Sekiro, well, not Sekiro, but after playing Bloodborne and stuff, I do not block, I just roll around, and, that's how I play the game, because it's just, I don't know, I don't like using a shield. The sword and board play style is not for me. I like being fast on my feet and fucking shit up. I like jumping behind them and doing fucking backstabs and just using my iframes to roll away and not get hit. And, I mean, you don't do as much damage when you got a shield in one hand anyways. I mean, I guess maybe your health won't go down as fast, but I mean, there's still plenty of bosses that will fuck you up right through your shield, and you'll be like, what? Me personally, I was like, why the fuck am I using this thing? Because I was still getting fucked up even with a shield. So, maybe I'm just not playing it right, but after playing Sekiro and Bloodborne and stuff and Dark Souls 3, I can't play like that, Sekiro was very different, I will admit. I still consider it in the series, but yes, it's a rhythm game is what it is, You have to learn the rhythm of bosses and stuff like that, which I did for all of them. The only boss that I cheesed is one that I still have never beat to this day without cheesing, and that's the Demon of Hatred. I could not beat him. He was very difficult. Dude, come on. He had 5 fucking parts to his boss fight. I mean, come on. Most of them have 2, possibly 3, man. But a fucking 5-part boss fight, and his health bar comes back every time, and he's the fucking hardest boss in the game. Nah. And like I said, I'm not good at blocking, deflecting, and parrying, but somehow I did beat Sekiro. and I did love it. But so Elden Ring is very. I never played Breath of the Wild, but I've heard the comparison, and it does kind of remind me of Fallout. How you just go around and you find all these things, amazing stuff out in the world, and then you end up in a vault that has its whole little dungeon, and then you go back out into the world, and it reminds me a lot of Fallout, actually, what Elden Ring did. Very similar, but of course, the story just is way different. It's told way different. But I love it. George R. R. Martin's involvement, I can absolutely see the things that R. R. Martin did. I mean, the incest, which I don't know if you consider, Queen America cutting herself in half and being a man and a woman and fucking herself to have kids. I don't know if you consider that incest or the highest form of masturbation that could ever happen. I don't know what it is considered, but at any rate, doesn't really matter, I suppose. But it still just reminds me of something out of Game of Thrones. Just the way they dress, the whole grace thing and stuff. Just, yes, your grace, and just I don't know, man. There's just a lot of things in it that just kind of, like, I was watching after Elden Ring. Me and my girlfriend started watching Game of Thrones, and we'd be watching it like, yo, the Night's Watch and shit. It's totally like Mountaintop of the Giants, and it reminds us of it, and the giants in the game and stuff like that. But of course, giants in Dark Souls games are way different. Remember in the Dark Souls game, the giants didn't have faces. I don't remember if giants had faces in Elden Ring. I know the trolls do. Yo, Emmy, do giants have faces in Elden Ring? Yeah, they do. Yeah, the fire giant has a face. Yeah, they got faces. And you can see their, like, bodies that are frozen and stuff just laying there. And, yeah, they got faces. They do. You see them in Caelid, too. And they're all, like, parts of the landscape. You'll see a big, gigantic, fucking dead body of a giant there and stuff. Such a great game. It's so fucking incredible. It really is. There's just so many things about it that are just great. And one thing I do really wish that you would get is I don't think you get it, but America at the end, how you kill her and you get her weapon. I wish you could get Rykard's hammer. Maybe you do get it. Maybe you can use her remembrance to get it. Wasn't that what they were called in Sekiro when you killed a boss and used their thing? It was called a remembrance, right? To raise your attack power? Yeah. So, you can see a lot of things from all their games, but being able to jump. I tried playing Demon Souls on PS5 yesterday, and after playing Elden Ring, not being able to jump, oh man, it changes things a lot. To not be able to jump just absolutely changes things. And in that environment, it really wouldn't change a lot, because you can't jump that high. Why not let me jump in those games, Fuck, let me jump in Demon Souls and Bloodborne and stuff. Maybe Bloodborne, it might ruin it a little bit. But most of them games, it ain't gonna gatekeep you from something you're not gonna be able to get over on, an environment just because you can jump a few feet, But being able to jump in Elden Ring just adds so much more to it. It really does. The only thing that possibly could have been added to make it any better would have been climbing. Like when I was playing Horizon Forbidden West, I was like, yo man, some of this, that would be cool if this was in fucking Elden Ring and you could climb up the side of a hill and stuff, but whatever. I'm anxious to see what they do with Armored Core. I've heard their next game is going to be a remake of Armored Core, and I'm anxious to see it because I have never gotten into mech suit shit, anime, and stuff like that. The closest I got was like Metal Gear, and God, Metal Gear is its own fucking conversation. That game was just completely torn apart after Part 3. It just became something completely different. Part 4 was straight. Part 5 was just a god-awful fucking mess that I wish I had never played. It just completely ruined the fucking series. They released the game 60% complete because Hideo Kojima can't stop sucking his own dick. Any rate, yeah, Elden Ring is just fucking great, but I'm hoping that everything they've learned will go into their next game, and I'm hoping that what Dark Souls did for me with fantasy, I'm hoping Armored Core will do with mech suit, the mech suit genre for me. I'm hoping I'll play Armored Core and be like, yo, the fucking mech suit thing is so cool, and now I'm gonna go back and watch all these old anime and fucking love Power Rangers and everything else. Uh, I doubt it, but I'm pretty sure that they'll make something good. All their shit is good. And after playing Elden Ring, I got like 5 games this month, and I can't really play any of them. All I want to do is start my second playthrough of Elden Ring, which I did today. Horizon Forbidden West, I did finally beat because I played it for like a week, and then Elden Ring came out, and my vacation started, and I quit playing Horizon Forbidden West so I could play Elden Ring. And then afterwards, I tried to finish it, and it was fine, but it just wasn't Elden Ring. The quest structure, everything about it just was not Elden Ring. And I got Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and I got Ghostwire Tokyo, and Final Fantasy Strangers of Paradise, and just, I don't know, man. After playing Elden Ring, none of it is scratching that itch. And it does suck that I've already done most everything in Elden Ring. It sucks, because I'll never be able to experience it for the first time again. And my, was it something special to see for the first time. And anyone out there that sees this that has not experienced, everything in Elden Ring, it's so great. Even if you're part of the way through it and you haven't experienced everything, just wait until the first time you get to Atlas Plateau and see Volcano Manor. It's fucking, I love Volcano Manor. It's so cool. I love Rykard. I love the Erd Tree when you're inside of it. The capital. God, when I first saw the capital, I was like, yo, it's a Dark Souls dungeon. An entire fucking Dark Souls dungeon is just one city in Elden Ring, of which there's so many, and then the entire underground map. The game is massive. I can't even believe that they finished it in the amount of time that they did. I would think that it would take fucking forever to develop a game like that, like some people, put a lot of time into certain games, and they don't come out with anything even half as good as Elden Ring, and that sucks. From Software is just really good at what they do. They are just so good at it. So, I played as mainly a dex build with a lot of strength also. Because it's so long, you get to level up so much, so many different things. So I leveled up endurance to like 30, health to like 50, dexterity to 60, and strength to 44. And everything else I didn't really level up at all. Maybe like I put a few levels into them, but overall not really. I did end up actually respecking, because I put a lot of points into Arcane, because Bloody Slash is fucking king and got me through a lot of shit in that game. And I ended up respecking and pumping all those Arcane points into Intelligence, because I was like, my next playthrough I'm going to use Intelligence. So when I start New Game Plus, I'm going to be using Intelligence, which I mainly am. Haven't really used any spells, but I'm using the Holy Moonlight Sword, which is in all of their games. God, it really should have been in Sekiro. I can see why people say Sekiro is not a part of the Souls series. Doesn't have the Holy Moonlight Blade, doesn't have patches. Bloodborne is extremely different too. I mean, the Holy Moonlight Sword is in it, but it was added in the DLC. And Patches is in it, but he's a fucking spider. So, yeah. But, so I'm going to try and go through it with Intelligence, and I might use some spells. It's just that the FP cost is just really high, and I don't really want to lose any of my flasks by using, some of them for FP, but I think I will actually. When I get my Intelligence to like level 60 so that I can use like the meteor thing to melt bosses, then, I probably will allocate some of them flasks for FP. Because I had a hell of a time with God, what's her name? Melania. God, did I have a hell of a time. And I summoned somebody. I summoned a lot of people. Most of them were worthless. And then I summoned somebody that had that meteor spell, which knocked the bitch on her ass. And while she was down, I ran up and slashed away at her, and it fucking made that fight into nothing. The Morgue Lord of Blood fight was ruined for me. I kept summoning people, and, I could not fucking do it, right? We couldn't do it after like 10, 15 tries, and now, of course, I know that you can use the shackle, which I had, and I don't know why I didn't use it. I guess I just didn't know about it. And I also didn't know that you can make him bleed like bosses that have like Scarlet Rot or Bleed or whatever. If you use it against them, it fucks them up, and I didn't know about that. So anyways, I had started the morgue fight, and I told, the person that had joined me, I brought 2 people in. And I was like, yo, I'll be back in a second. I went to go take a piss. And I come back, and the fucking guy, like, cheesed over a wall around the fog gate and killed him. And I was mad, man. He fucking took that fight away from me. I will get to do it in New Game Plus. Of course, he's going to be harder, because all their games get more difficult with each new game. So, that does suck. But, I'll do it. See, there's a thing about their games that's just... And I learned it when I played Sekiro. Like the Genichiro fight, which I was stuck on for, I think, 3 days. Could not beat Genichiro. And I finally beat him. And that feeling when you beat them is like, oh, wow. And it was the same like with the Guardian Ape. I was stuck on him for a couple days. I was stuck on the Young Owl for quite a while. Yeah, there was a lot of fights on there I got stuck with. In Elden Ring, I haven't gotten stuck on anything for too long. I did get stuck on Malekith of the Black Blade for quite a while. It probably took a good 50 tries before I killed him. And the Elden Beast probably took me a good 30 tries, maybe. I played it early in the morning, right when I woke up. And I kept summoning people, and they sucked. Like, how have you people played this and beaten it, and you're getting summoned for the Elden Beast, and you can't fucking help me? And you're getting killed by the Holy Range shit, I mean, I've played it, and now I know how to dodge that Holy Range shit. And all these people I summoned were fucking worthless, man. And I ended up beating it with my Mimic Tear. My Mimic Tear died, actually, pretty fast, so I pretty much did it myself. I just stayed at the back of the Elden Beast, dodged its attacks, and stayed at its back and slashed at it whenever I could, and I beat it. Elden Ring has a lot of stuff in it. There's stuff everywhere all over the place. I'm in New Game Plus, and I'm still finding shit. I think I went into a hero's grave or whatever at the beginning of the game, and I had missed something, and I had missed the tree sentinel armor and stuff, and there's a lot of things I missed. I killed Patches my first time around through Elden Ring, and it sucks because I didn't know till I was listening to a thing on YouTube, and they were talking about Patches, who actually, like sells things to you, and it's like, oh, no more, halfway through the fight, and gives you a whole quest for the Volcano Manor, and I didn't know about that. I don't remember Patches getting down and asking if I would save his life or whatever, or leave him alone. I don't remember that happening when I played through it. Now, it happened at the beginning of my first playthrough, and I don't remember Patches, begging for his life. I remember fucking him up and killing him and being like, they made Patches into a boss fight? God, this is the best game ever. But, I don't remember that. So, I was playing through it this time, and yeah, he did. And so I'll get his quest line, and I'll be able to get the stuff that I missed, which is, I think, a few NPCs that you fight and you get their armor, and just another assassination quest. So, the Souls series has a very special place in my heart. Because of them, I ended up getting into the Final Fantasy games, the fantasy genre. I got into Final Fantasy eventually. With Final Fantasy, I saw the 7 remake, and I was like, wow, that game looks amazing, so I got it, and then I just started getting into all of them, and, the magic and the swords and stuff like that are things that I always thought was kind of nerdy, until I played Dark Souls, and now I'm kind of into it, you know. So Elden Ring just kicks pretty much everything else's ass right now, which sucks. Because I want more good games to play, and you know, eventually I will get tired of Elden Ring. I've already done so much in the game and played it for so long that even in my second playthrough, I'm like, ugh, oh god, I've been playing it for so long, but it's still just the best, man. It's so good. You know, I really don't know what else to say. That's about everything. I heard that it was easier than their other games. Not easier, no. It's not easier. I think it's pretty fucking hard. Even if you're, in fact, I've seen people that use magic having problems. My girlfriend, you know, runs as a mage, and a lot of times enemies just fly over to her and run over to her, and they start fucking her up, and she dies. And a melee build would have had a much easier time with that. You know, I guess it's spread across where some things are easier with magic and some things aren't. So they did a really good job with this. From Software did an amazing job, and Hidetaki Miyazaki is fucking awesome, man. He beats the shit out of Hideo Kojima, in my opinion, and he's actually humble, which Hideo Kojima is most definitely not. Uh, Sucks, man, because I do like Metal Gear, but, you know, Hideo Kojima just thinks far too much of himself, and, if I were to guess, you know, by playing Miyazaki's games and seeing in Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Elden Ring and all that, seeing how depressing they are and all that type of stuff, I would guess that he probably got bullied when he was younger, probably had problems. He's probably a D&D nerd, and I'd say that he's probably much more humble, you know, unlike some other people that just think far too much of themselves, and you know. It's really good. It's really good. I I do like it better than the Demon Souls remake. It does not look as pretty, no, but it is the far superior game. So, Demon Souls remake is, you know, just a remake of an old game. It's pretty much the same old fucking game. There really was no need to remake it except to get people to play an older game that they never played before, and I guess they wouldn't have played it because it was on the PS3, and we all know Sony doesn't think much of that console. The games that were on it are just not ported over nowadays for some fucking reason, like, uh, I don't know, man, like Final Fantasy 13, it's like nowhere else. You have to play Final Fantasy 13 on the PS3, which I did. When I got a PS3, I got Demon Souls and Final Fantasy 13, and, Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas and some other things that were only on the PS3. Max Payne 3. It sucks that that stuff never made it into the future, but I don't think Sony liked the PS3. It was a strange console, I will admit. But the PS5 is starting to take some things that I noticed in the PS3, like having to bring up your menu and fucking, you know, exit out of a game and then quitting the game outside of it in the menu, just like it was on the PS3. You had to press the PlayStation button, go into the menu, and close it out and shit like that. And the PS5 does that. I thought the PS4 was a far superior console, and you could put themes on it and stuff. And the PS5 is just chock full of fucking ads and. Oh Lord, I love my PS5, but goddamn, man. Sony. Elden Ring, if you haven't got it, fucking get that shit and play it. It's a great game. Take it from me. I'm a hardcore Souls fan. I guess that's what you'd call me. You know, I didn't play all their games since they first came out, and I never played, like, Kingsfield or Armored Core or any of their old stuff. But I have been a fan for several years now, and I love their games. And, you know, it's so good. Uh, it does sort of bother me that so many people are liking it, because I think a lot of the people that are playing Elden Ring, I don't think the game is for them. People that are duping runes and just leveling their character up without working for it and stuff, you know, like, why are you even playing the game? You're just ruining it for yourself. What is the fucking point, you know? A lot of the point of playing that game, because the stories are so different, it's not like you're playing it for the fucking cutscenes, man. I do wish the cutscenes that were in the trailers would have made it into the game. That would have been great. It really sucks that it wasn't, but you know. So there's a few gripes that I have. Like I do wish it would have had those cutscenes from the trailers. I think that's actually my only gripe. Oh, there are a lot of fucking what's it called? Mausoleums and caves and stuff. I think they could have done with a few less of those, maybe, but you know, reused a few bosses less, possibly. But you know, that's a small gripe. Um, it's great, you know. Dexterity, I think, beats strength in this one, whereas the other games, I thought strength did it some. You know, um, I guess that's about all I have to say about it. Emily, you want to add anything about Elden Ring?
Not much a good game, you know. I loved it. Right now.
She's shy, so I don't think she'll want to say anything about it. She was having quite a hard time. She did have some people join her and help her, though, and I think it made all the difference. I think she started to like it after that, now that she's leveled up some, but, you know, it's great. Play the fucking shit. Later, you fucking nerds. Get a life. Like,